Are you trying to figure out how to properly buy and sell a property at the same time? Maybe you're stuck, maybe you don't know where to begin. Well, that's exactly what I'll be discussing in today's video. We're gonna jump into that right now. Hey there, it's Linn here. I'm a realtor here in Indianapolis with the Best Life Realty Group at the Ferris Property Group. So you're considering buying a home within the next year, but you have another home to sell first, so you're not exactly sure what to do. Well, you're in great luck. I've got you covered. Here are the next steps that I highly recommend you follow that'll help you from becoming homeless. As always, I always say this first. The first step to almost anything when it comes to buying real estate would be to get pre-approved. Even if you're not looking to move within the next year, maybe even 6 months, whatever, the pre-approval process will at least help you know where you stand. Just because you have a mortgage now doesn't always mean that you can get approved for another mortgage down the road. Their policies may have changed, you may need a certain credit score, and so on. So talking with the lender up front will kind of eliminate a lot of the questions that you might have, and that lender will be able to determine how much money you can afford, how much housing you can afford, what your monthly payments will be, what the interest rates will be, and so on. So this is definitely the first step you want to follow, regardless of when you are looking to buy. Another thing your lender is going to do is they can work closely with your real estate agent. That real estate agent can run some comps on your property and kind of get an idea about what your house would sell for and figure out an estimated amount of how much money you can make on the sale of your home. And that lender then could take those proceeds and figure out how much money you can actually put down and figure out how much house you can afford after your house closes. Now, if you watch my last video, you'll realize working with a local lender will get you so much further than working with a random internet lender. So now that you've got that out of the way and you've talked to the lender, you've got the pre-approval, now what do you do? Because this video was shot in 2020 and good houses are just as hard to come by, just as good toilet paper is, these are the next steps that you would really want to follow in a tight competitive market like we are in 2020. The next thing you will want to do, again, regardless of when you are looking to sell your house, would be to prep your home as if you were going to put it on the market. That means decluttering, cleaning of the house, doing some light staging, doing some typical yard cleanup, just getting your house ready to go, so that way when you make that split decision that you're ready to list your house and go buy, you don't have to start all over. The next thing that I would do is get a hold of your real estate agent and have them schedule the photos. Again, even if you're not looking to list your house for a couple of months, getting the pictures done as soon as your house is marketable is the best time to get pictures because it's going to show the best. After your house has been set up for marketing and pictures are all done, I would have your real estate agent set you up on a search based on the criteria of the house that you're looking for and also based on what the lender has approved you for. I know what you're thinking, but Paul, if I list my house now, there's 100 people lined up that want to buy my house will sell in one day and I will have nowhere to move. So if you don't have another house lined up yet, one that you fell in love with online, but you still want to list your property, but scared to become homeless, here's exactly what you can do to save yourself from all the headache. Are you ready for it? It's called a reverse contingency. So the reverse contingency is basically how it sounds. So when you go to buy a property, you're gonna make that offer contingent upon you selling your house, right? So you'll have a contingency going this direction, but what if we had one going the other way, okay? So we're gonna make your home sale contingent upon you finding a house to live. That's genius, right? I mean, why wouldn't you ever think of that?
Light bulb.
So basically, when you list your house for sale, your agent will want to notify the public that this sale is contingent upon you finding suitable housing, okay? And you'll have an agreement in place that you guys will have to come up with, and whoever buys that house is going to have to sign that. Otherwise, you're not gonna accept their offer without it, okay? Once you have an accepted offer and they sign this agreement and you sign off on it, it should give you time to go find a property. And guess what? What if you don't find a property? Well, it's contingent upon you finding suitable housing. So if you just cannot find something or you can't get an offer accepted, you can always back out of your deal and you're still back from square one. I know it's frustrating, but at least it protects you from becoming homeless. So now that you've got your reverse contingency in place, you've accepted an offer on this house, you go find another house, you write an offer, they accept it, now you're pending on both transactions. How will this work? Closing time. So once you go under contract on your personal home, you'll want to take that date, your closing date or estimated closing date, and kind of coordinate that with the house that you're buying, and you're going to want to close both properties on the same day. The reason why you're going to close both properties on the same day is because your lender is not going to give you money for the new house until this one closes. Remember, you got pre-approved based on the fact that you need to sell your house first. So what you would probably do in that scenario is you would set up the closings to be on the same day. Let's say you would set them up for, let's say 10 a.m. Okay, you would sell your first house at 10 a.m. and as soon as that closing was over, you would have those funds transferred over to the next closing, and you would close back to back, to where any funds left over after both closings, you would get a check back, and now your old loan will get paid off by the title company and your new loan will take place and life can move forward. So I've got a bonus tip for you. If you do not want to move in one day, what you're going to want to do at the very beginning before you accept an offer on your personal house is you're probably going to want to negotiate a couple days possession after closing. So again, how this scenario would work would be you would close on your home first at 10 a.m., buy the new home at 11 a.m. You would get the keys for the new house at 11 a.m. and this house is empty now, you can move into this house. But you would maintain possession of your old house for about 2 or 3 days. If you can get a buyer to accept that, especially in a hot market, then you're gonna be all set. Because I can tell you right now, moving in one day is terrible. So if you can have 2 or 3 days just to gradually move into your new home, you'll be so much more relieved, and trust me, you'll be so much happier that you did it in 3 days instead of 1. There's definitely a lot more that goes into this process. You're gonna wanna make sure you're working with a good agent, one that knows how to buy and sell at the same time, and one that's familiar with the reverse contingency. I like to call it the seller purchase contingency. So make sure you're working with an agent that knows how to do that so you do not end up homeless. If you like this video, then you're gonna wanna check out my next video that talks about how long it actually takes to close on a home. What questions do you now have about the process? Feel free to drop them in the comments below. Thanks again for watching this video, and we will catch you on the next one.